Welcome back to Moment in History. I'm Seth Udinsky. Well, it's Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, and the heavily favored Boston Red Sox, still searching for their first title since they parted ways with Babe Ruth less than a year after the end of World War I, were leading the New York Mets 3-2 in a best-of-7 series. The game was tied after 9 innings, but in the first extra frame, the Sox went up 5-3 on a clutch home run from Dave Henderson, sending the Mets crowd at Shea Stadium into stunned silence. When the Mets came up in the bottom of the 10th, the Sox retired the first 2 batters, standing 1 out away from a World Series title. With barely a shred of hope, Gary Carter lined a single to left to keep the Mets season alive. Then Kevin Mitchell singled and Ray Knight came to the plate. Down to their final strike, at this point, the Mets stayed alive as Knight fought off an inside fastball to bloop a single to center, scoring Carter and cutting the Red Sox lead in half, 5-4. Now, at this point, with 2 outs and runners at the corners, Red Sox manager John McNamara sent pitcher Calvin Schiraldi to the showers and elected to bring in reliever Bob Stanley to get that final out for the Red Sox. Mets speedster Mookie Wilson stepped to the plate. Working the count to 2-2, and again with the team 1 strike away from defeat, Wilson battled, fouling off several pitches. Finally, Stanley lost control of a fastball, and the ball zipped past the catcher and went to the backstop. Mitchell motored home from third base, tying the game, and Knight moved into scoring position with the winning run at second. The Mets now had all the momentum. Stanley towed the rubber and fired home, and Wilson dribbled a routine ground ball to first baseman Bill Buckner that 99% of the time would have been an easy out to send the game into the 11th inning. But shockingly, Buckner went down to field the ball, and it scooted right between his legs into right field. Knight rounded third and scored easily, sending Shea Stadium into a delighted frenzy and the Red Sox bench into a stunned stupor. The Sox had snatched defeat from the jaws of victory and lost Game 6, tying the series up at 3 games apiece. Immediately, Buckner was the scapegoat for his game-ending error, but in the decades since his game, baseball historians have agreed that a host of factors contributed to this harrowing Red Sox defeat. In Game 6, Stanley's pass ball, Calvin Schiraldi's 10th inning unraveling, the Mets' ability to string together several clutch hits all contributed, and of course, there was also the specter of the alleged curse of the Bambino, where the Sox had now gone almost 70 years with no World Series title since Ruth was sold to the Yankees. Of course, historians sometimes forget the series was not over. The Sox could have put it all behind them in Game 7 had they won, but the Mets, with their home crowd and all the momentum from their miracle comeback in Game 6, were not to be outdone. The Sox jumped out to an early lead and held a 3-0 lead actually as late as the 6th inning, but then the Mets rallied once again with 3 runs in the 6th and 3 more in the 7th. The Red Sox never regained the lead and lost the game 8-5, and with it, the 1986 World Series. For the Red Sox, it would be another 18 years and at least one more horrendous playoff defeat before they would finally hoist the World Series trophy in 2004. Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History.